Welcome to the deep dive. Ever wonder how some businesses just seem to, well, explode on social media, like almost out of nowhere?
Yeah, it can look like magic sometimes.
Exactly. Well, today, we're actually unpacking a real-world example. It's a fitness startup that didn't just, you know, dip toes into TikTok. They dove head first.
Mm-hmm.
And the result,
Mm-hmm.
they actually doubled their sales. Doubled in just a few months.
Pretty impressive numbers.
Totally. So we'll be digging into exactly how they pulled that off, the strategies, the results, the whole story. Now, I know some of you listening might still think TikTok is, mostly dance crazes and memes.
Don't get that a lot, yeah.
But this case really shows it can be a serious engine for growth. Oh, and speaking of boosting your online presence, if you are looking for resources, maybe ways to amplify your own social media profiles, you might want to check out a site called rapidboost.net. Just putting that out there.
Good tip.
But right now, let's get into this fitness company's TikTok transformation because it's pretty fascinating.
It really is. And it's remarkable how quickly perceptions are shifting, Many people do still see TikTok as just entertainment, but its power as a marketing tool, it's becoming undeniable.
So what makes it so potent then? Is it just the sheer number of users?
That's part of it, but it's more about how it works. Specifically, the algorithm. See, unlike other platforms where your reach is really tied to who already follows you.
Right, your existing audience.
Exactly. TikTok's For You page, the FYP, it surfaces content based on individual user interests. So this creates a really unique opportunity, especially for, say, smaller businesses or those just starting out.
How so?
Well, you could potentially get significant visibility, even overnight sometimes, if your content just connects, even with 0 followers initially. It's more about the content finding the right audience, rather than you needing the audience first.
Okay, that is a different dynamic.
Yeah.
Like you could tap into this massive pool of people just by understanding what they actually want to see. That's a whole different ballgame, isn't it?
It really is.
And it sounds like this fitness startup, they really figured something out about today's consumers, especially the younger ones.
They did. And you have to look at where people are spending their time now. Younger demographics, especially, are on platforms like TikTok. Often, way more than the traditional giants like Instagram or even Facebook these days.
That shift is huge.
It's absolutely key. This demographic, they really value content that feels, authentic, real. It needs to be quick, easy to digest, and this is crucial. They put a lot of trust in user-generated content, UGC.
So less polished ads, more real people.
Exactly. They tend to tune out the highly produced traditional advertising stuff. And the stats back this up. I mean, TikTok has over 1 billion monthly active users, last I checked in 2023.
Wow, 1 billion.
Yeah. But what's really striking is the engagement. Brands on TikTok, they see average engagement rates around 18%. Compare that to Instagram, where it's often under 5%.
18 versus under 5,
Yes.
that's massive.
Huge difference.
Right.
So for businesses not exploring TikTok, they're missing out on this incredibly engaged pool of potential customers. It's a big missed opportunity.
Okay, so let's talk about this specific fitness startup. They had a good product, right? At-home workout gear, online programs. Sounds solid.
Yeah, the offering itself was good.
But they were hitting that wall. Slow sales. And their usual channels, Instagram, Facebook, they just weren't working anymore.
Pretty much. Stagnant growth, content maybe feeling a bit forced, and those ad costs just kept creeping up and up.
Yeah, that sounds painfully familiar for a lot of businesses.
Absolutely. And, their first attempts on TikTok weren't exactly setting the world on fire either.
Oh, really? So they tried it before and it didn't work.
Yeah, they dabbled. But an audit of what they were doing initially showed some, let's say, common mistakes. Their videos felt too polished, like you said, too much like traditional ads. That just doesn't fly on TikTok.
Doesn't fit the vibe.
Not at all. And they weren't using the platform's own features, no trending sounds, none of the viral challenges, and almost no interaction with their community. Comments going unanswered.
Oof.
Yeah, and no duets or stitches, where you create video alongside someone else's, that collaborative feel. None of that. They also seemed a bit lost with hashtags and when the best times to post were.
So, kind of throwing stuff out there, but not really engaging with the platform.
Exactly. The core issue really was they were posting at people, not with them, just broadcasting.
Okay, so
Exactly. It was a smart pivot away from just generic get fit content. So their themes became things like squeezing movement into a packed workday, practical routines you can do literally anywhere at home, quick meal ideas, even busting fitness myth in short, snappy videos.
Making it super practical and fast.
Yes. The mission became entertain, educate, and empower, all in under 60 seconds.
That's such a key insight, tailoring the message to the platform. So, okay, they have this clear angle. How do they actually turn that into a stream of content? Because having the idea is one thing, executing consistently is another beast.
Right. Execution is everything. And that's where their 30-day content calendar strategy really shone. They built it around 4 main pillars.
Okay, let's hear them.
First, those relatable tips, like really quick, actionable advice. Think 3 stretches for your next Zoom call, stuff you can use immediately.
Yeah, Noctil.
Second, bite-sized product demos. But crucially, under 30 seconds, respecting that short attention span. Third, they brought in humor. Humorous takes like fitness fails, maybe lighthearted myth versus reality skits, something entertaining.
I can mix it up.
And finally, pillar 4 was active engagement. Duets and reacts with other fitness creators or even with their own customers, really fostering that interaction. And the key underlying all this, consistency. Daily posts, varying the type of content.
Daily. Wow, that's a commitment.
It was, but that mix kept the feed fresh and kept people coming back. It wasn't just sell, sell, sell. It was value, fun, interaction.
Right, a blend. Now, virality, that seems like the holy grail on TikTok, but also kind of unpredictable. Did they just get lucky, or was there a strategy to, hack virality?
Well, you can never guarantee virality, obviously, but they definitely strategized to increase their chances. They made a real effort to identify and, importantly, adapt trending hashtags and sounds within the fitness and wellness space.
So jumping on trends, but making them their own.
Exactly. You know those sounds or challenges that just blow up? They'd find creative, on-brand ways to use them. There was this one specific post, a great example. They used a trending timer sound for a super quick, 15-minute desk workout.
Oh, yeah. How'd that do?
It went huge. We're talking 340,000 views, tons of comments, all within 48 hours.
Oh, okay. That's serious reach.
Absolutely. And the thing about using trends effectively is you're tapping into something that's already got momentum. You're leveraging existing conversations and making your content way more discoverable.
That makes sense. Plugging into the current. And I remember you mentioned user-generated content earlier. That wasn't just about trends, right? They actively encouraged it.
Oh, hugely. They didn't just wait for it. They asked for it. They encouraged people to do duets and stitches with their videos, and they offered little incentives, maybe featuring someone's video, sending out a free resistance band, that kind of thing.
Smart. Little nudges.
Yeah. And that UGC, it turned out to be incredibly powerful. It acts as authentic testimonials, real social proof. It builds community trust in a way that, honestly, no paid ad ever could.
Because it's real people, not the brand talking about itself.
Precisely.
Right.
When your own customers are showing off your stuff or sharing how your tips help them, that carries so much more weight.
Yeah, I can see that. It really shifts the dynamic. And it sounds like building that community, that connection, was more than just a side effect. It was intentional.
Oh, absolutely fundamental. They got that just having followers isn't the end goal. You need to cultivate actual brand advocates, people who feel connected.
So how do they do that practically?
A key thing was this non-negotiable commitment to authentic engagement. They replied to every comment, seriously, asked follow-up questions, invited people to share their own stories and progress.
That takes time.
It does, but it fostered this genuine connection. And what happened? More shares, more saves, more people coming back again and again. They also used TikTok's own tools, like the Q&A, sticker, and polls, to basically crowdsource ideas.
So involving the audience in what came next.
Exactly, letting the audience guide the content based on what they were interested in. And they had this cool follower of the week thing where they'd spotlight someone's progress or maybe a funny video they made, tag them. Kept engagement really high.
That's brilliant. Really making people feel seen. Okay, so all this effort, this strategy, let's talk bottom line. What were the actual measurable results? Did it translate?
This is where it gets really exciting, yeah.
Yeah.
And they tracked more than just vanity metrics, which is key. So get this. In 90 days, their follower count went from about 2,100 to over 76,000.
Wow. 2K to 76K in 3 months.
76,000. And importantly, the engagement stayed high. Their videos were averaging over 12,000 views with a consistent engagement rate over 10%.
That's really healthy engagement.
Very healthy. And then there's website traffic. They saw a 260% jump in direct traffic coming straight from TikTok. They tracked this super carefully using custom landing pages, so they knew it was TikTok driving it.
260% increase in traffic.
Oh.
Okay, that's substantial. But the big question, I guess, sales. Did the needle actually move there?
That's the ultimate test, right? And
Right.
within just 2 months of really implementing this full TikTok strategy, their monthly unit sales doubled compared to their average from the first quarter of the year.
Doubled their sales
Yeah.
just from this TikTok push.
Doubled. And remember that viral desk workout video?
Yeah, the one with 340K views.
In the week that went viral, week 6, that single clip was responsible for 28% of their total monthly sales.
One video drove almost a third of their sales for the month. Incredible.
It shows the potential impact, but it wasn't just about the quick wins. What's really interesting for the long term is that customers who came in via TikTok, they had a 32% higher repeat purchase rate.
Higher lifetime value then.
Exactly. They think it's because those customers joined their email list through TikTok-only offers and then stayed engaged with the ongoing weekly content. They built a more loyal base.
So TikTok wasn't just a quick hit, a flash in the pan. It actually built a more valuable customer relationship. That's huge.
It really is a sustainable impact.
So, looking back at their whole journey, what would you say were the biggest successes, the things that really worked? And conversely, where were the bumps in the road, the challenges?
Okay, key successes. Definitely consistency. That daily posting was crucial for momentum. Also, authentic, behind-the-scenes content performed way better than expected.
People like seeing the real stuff.
They really do. And their speed, being able to jump on trends quickly, that drove massive reach. And as we've said, UGC just outperformed paid ads massively for sales and trust.
Okay, and the challenges. What didn't work so well?
Well, they learned that overly branded posts just fell flat, got very little engagement.
Yeah, the TikTok audience sniffs that out.
They do.
Yeah.
Also, if they slacked off on posting, even for a bit, they noticed the algorithms seemed to put them in a sort of cold start. Reach would drop.
Consistency really matters then.
Hugely. They also had a couple of issues with using copyrighted sounds without the proper rights, got flagged a few times. You have to be careful there. And they learned pretty fast that hard selling, like direct buy now calls to action, just killed engagement. Big turnoff.
Right. So how did they adjust? What changes did they make based on learning those lessons?
They got much quicker, much more agile at spotting and reacting to trends. They really doubled down on delivering pure value, entertainment, education, rather than constant product pushing.
Value first.
Value first. They leaned heavily into using comments and duets to build that community feel, and they started doing some smart collaborations with micro-influencers in their specific fitness niche that helped build credibility and reach very targeted groups.
Makes sense. Using influencers who already have that trust within a smaller community.
Exactly. Niche credibility.
This whole story is just, wow, really powerful case study. So for someone listening now, maybe running their own business or managing social media, and they're thinking, okay, maybe TikTok is worth a serious look.
Yeah.
What are the practical first steps? How can they start applying some of these strategies?
Okay, practical playbook time. First, define your content pillars. Think 3 to 5 core themes. What value can you consistently offer your audience that also showcases your brand's voice? Could be tips, demos, behind the scenes, testimonials, reactions. Find your mix.
Got it. Define your lanes.
Second, dedicate time daily, even just 15 minutes to actually be on TikTok. Explore the Discover page, the For You page. See what sounds are trending, what hashtags are popping, who potential collaborators might be. You have to immerse yourself a bit.
Okay, do the research.
Third, plan a simple content calendar, maybe just 30 days to start, and commit to posting consistently. Aim for 1 or 2 posts a day if you can, mixing up the formats, humor, visuals, pure value.
Consistency again.
Crucial. Fourth, actively invite and incentivize UGC. Run a challenge, offer a small reward for duets or stitches. And when people participate, feature them, showcase those customer wins, builds massive trust and expands reach.
Leverage your community.
Fifth, engage. Reply to every comment, every message if possible. Use those Q&A stickers, run polls, co-create content with your audience. Make them feel part of it.
Don't just broadcast, interact.
Exactly. Sixth, track the right metrics. Go beyond views. Look at website conversions. Direct traffic specifically from TikTok. Maybe use those custom landing pages and customer retention for TikTok-acquired customers. Know what's actually driving business results.
Measure what matters.
And finally, step 7, test and learn. Try new formats every week. See what resonates. Analyze your data. Double down on what works for your audience. Don't be afraid to experiment.
That's a fantastic, really actionable playbook. Thanks for breaking that down.
My pleasure. It's definitely achievable.
This has been a really, really illuminating deep dive. It just shows the incredible potential of TikTok for businesses, doesn't it? It's clearly so much more than just an entertainment app if you approach it strategically.
Absolutely. The success story we looked at today really hammers home that it's not just about blindly following trends. It's about genuinely understanding what your audience needs and wants, and then communicating authentically.
Yeah, that authenticity piece seems key.
It is. TikTok seems to reward brands that actually educate, entertain, and engage in a real way. Brands that build communities.
So for everyone listening, maybe think about that playbook we just went through. What's maybe one small thing, one manageable experiment you could try on TikTok this week for your business or project?
Good challenge.
Yeah. What's perhaps holding you back from exploring it? Because the potential for growth, for building a really dedicated community, it seems immense if you do it right. Definitely some food for thought there.